Welcome to Positive Atheism English channel. Today I am going to read out you an article on secularism and the role of Atheist Center, which is written by Dr. G. Vijayam, an atheist. India had a long tradition of secularism. It was not only a cradle of religion but also of progressive thought. Atheists in ancient India, Charvakas and Lokaitas, opposed religious practices. Gautam Buddha and Mahavira propagated tolerance and non-violence and equal respect to all. They opposed superstitions, inhuman practices, and upheld human dignity. The revolutions in religions brought forth by social reformers were within the religious structure. They opposed not only interreligious rivalry between Hindus and Muslims, but also the intersect rivalry within the Hindu religion. Kabir championed communal harmony and opposed idolatry, and reformers preached tolerance. Social reformers like Raja Ram Mohan Rai, who opposed the inhuman custom of sati, championed the secularization of society and positive interference of the state with a view to curb anti-social acts of religion. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, an agnostic, advocated widow remarriages. A number of social reformers of the 19th century who were influenced by the Western ideas and education strove incessantly for widow remarriages, spread of education among women, and ban on religious practices which were not in tune with the progress of society. Mahatma Phule and Maharshi Karve devoted their lives for the promotion of women education, braving the opposition of the orthodox sections of the society. A number of social reformers of Maharashtra, Bengal, and Andhra opposed orthodoxy and championed liberal views in reform. Mahadev Govind Ranade, Pandita Ramabai, Kandukuri Vereslingam, Keshav Chandra Sen, Devendranath Tagore, Ram Vilas Chadha, and many others were heretics in their own times who were in favor of liberalization of religion and secularization of institutions. The advocacy of religious tolerance and equal respect to all religions was in itself a progressive step till the advent of independence in India. The British rule in India, on the one side, brought the country together politically and through communications such as railways, post, telegraph, and also by providing a link language in the form of English. This opened the window to the West and the outside world to let the fresh breeze in on secular ideas. But at the same time, the Britishers followed a policy of divide and rule and encouraged and established separate electorates for Muslims and Sikhs through the constitutional reforms of 1909 and 1919, which ultimately culminated in fanning the communal hatred and Muslim separatism in particular, which resulted in the partitions of the country into secular India and Muslim Pakistan. Pakistan became an Islamic state and India maintained its sanity and continued as a secular state. History bears testimony to the fact that the partition of the country on the basis of religion was untenable, as the Muslim Pakistan was further subdivided into Bangladesh. It reveals in unmistakable terms that religion should not be on the basis for a state, as one common religion alone could not hold the country together. The nationalist movement in India, right from the latter part of the 19th century, drew inspiration from the secular concepts, and the Indian National Congress remained a secular organization. In fact, in Indian nationalism, secularism was an important strand. They opposed religious fundamentalism and moved for the partition of the country on religious basis. Mahatma Gandhi considered religion as a personal matter, and he was for the formation of a secular state. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was not only a socialist but also a great champion of humanism and secularism. He was a source of inspiration for socialists and other progressive elements in India. The nationalist leaders adopted for secularism as a basis of India in spite of their personal preference for religion. That is why the founding fathers of the Indian Constitution never hesitated to build India on secular foundations. In fact, they defeated the measures to bring any reference to God into the preamble of the Constitution. They opposed and defeated the amendment of Mr. H.V. Kamath to invoke the name of God in the preamble. opposing to the amendment of Sri H.V. Kumar to start the preamble with the words "In the name of God," great liberal Pandit H.N. Kunzru said, "Such a course of action is inconsistent with the preamble, which promises liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship to everyone." Pandit Kunzru further said, "We invoke the name of God, but I make bold to say that while we do so, we are showing a narrow sectarian spirit which is contrary to the spirit of the Constitution." When Kamat's amendment was defeated with an overwhelming majority, Mr. Kamath lamented that it was the darkest day in the annals of Indian history. But in reality, it was the brightest day for the future of India, as it took a decisive step to march in the direction of secularism and separation of state and religion. The 42nd Amendment to the Constitution, introduced by Mrs. Indira Gandhi, the then Prime Minister, reiterated the secular character, declaring India as a socialist, secular, democratic state. The fundamental duties incorporated into the Constitution through the same amendment make it the responsibility of every citizen to strive to develop the scientific temper, humanism, and the spirit of inquiry and reform. The Constitution of India abolished untouchability, and its practice in any form was prohibited. Special preferences in the name of religion do not exist. In India, secularism does not mean mere separation of religion and state, but also the abolition of the practice of untouchability. It is a welcome gesture on the part of various state governments in India, which announce special incentives to the intercaste married couples. The Untouchability Act was named in 1976 as Civil Rights Act. The nomenclature was in tune with the aims and aspirations of the people. Thus, the trend towards secularism received support not only during the nationalist movement but also in post-independence India. However, to bring change in the centuries-old tradition-bound India, it requires constant persuasion, support, and repeated efforts to strengthen the democratic and secular ramparts with God. And from here, I shall continue in the next episode again. Thank you.
For more videos, please subscribe to our Positive Atheism English channel presented by Samaram channels, which has crossed more than 20 crore views. Please like, subscribe and share our videos, and for notification of our new videos, please click the bell icon.